You've been talking a lot about the process of working with the director, and I'm an aspiring director, so I'm on the other side of the fence, and I'm very interested in what you said about truth. Now, do you think that in directing actors that the end justifies the means? Because, you know, you want your director to be truthful to you, but at the end of the day, it's a form of manipulation. So, have you ever felt like you've been exploited by a director, and how did that make you feel? And would you say that...
I know I've been exploited by directors and producers, and the things I've been asked to do. I'm a female actor. You get exploited. I try to avoid that now. I try to give my women a backbone that they might not intend, but I can't play without. I don't think there's any misstep, except to feel that you might be doing something wrong. And there's something in the casting that's very important. It's not only finding the person who will play the character really well for you. You know, here's a great dilemma. You find somebody who's really so going to be the character, but you can tell already they're going to be a handful for whatever reason. And so then you must use your human intelligence to understand who this person is, do you know, and what works best with them. And some people do better when they're in trouble and yelled at, and some people do better when they feel that they're loved. And any actor that's there has indeed agreed to make this picture. And if they're stepping back from it now that you're shooting it, that's not your problem, that's theirs. And you need them to do what they signed on to do. And that's when no holds barred. And the story I've heard and had confirmed by people who were there, that Lars von Trier takes his dick out and wags it in Nicole Kidman's face. I don't want to be that girl with Mr. von Trier's penis in my face, but at that time she was quite huge. It's quite possible she was rather full of herself. She didn't want to go there, and he needed her to go there. Dogville's a pretty good movie.
Thanks.
How truly important is a strong actor-director relationship?
Not truly important at all. You can have no relationship at all, but it's not the best, you know? And you don't want to lose your actor, right? I've worked plenty where there's just plain old not very much relationship there, right? And that can be okay even. But I was shooting an independent film that you may or may not ever see that was called One Thing, and now I can't remember what they're changing the name to. The filmmaker had made another thing that did well at festivals, and so now she had an opportunity to make another film, and it's a standard independent contract. It's worth mentioning that independent was a word that when it was originally used, however many years ago, it kind of meant independent from studio. Now it's very complicated because studios make independent films. So there's also films that are independent in thought. But this was a truly independent, very low budget. My union allows a 24-day contract, 32-day contracts at very low fees for everybody, and maybe some arrangements for back end. Anyway, we're there on the set, and I'm having a really hard time with the rhythm of the director as she works, because she has no sense of urgency about it. This is the second film set she's been on. This is the 200th film set I've been on. And I'm a little bit worried about her tempo. And so oftentimes I'm trying to make a shorthand in talking to her, and that kind of offends her, and she gets even like slower. And then, so it's not going well. And one day when I say, oh my God, you've got to care about these things. She didn't care so much about the continuity. She didn't care so much about she just thought it was a bunch of pictures strung together or something. I don't know what she thought. And finally, she tells me her truth. Oh, Melissa, when you only have so much money, you can only do so much. You're setting out to make a mediocre film? Why are you wasting our time? You know, so you gotta be in it, doing it, and if you're there because you think it's fun to be called the director or something, I don't know, please don't bother. You know, and what is that thing that you guys want your lives to be? I've had some moments in my life that anyone could envy. And I've had moments, many more moments, years in my life that no one would want. And in terms of acting, and I think it's true in terms of filmmaking, in college they said, oh, you want to be an actor? If anything can stop you, let it. And how many of you that have been here working so hard and so passionately all week will, in the next handful of years, be calling me to hire me for your film that's financed and has a date? Half a dozen, maybe. You see, I don't mean to say, not you, not you. It's only inside of you that you know what you're capable of, how much it means to you. And if you want to become a part of an industry, or if you want to make something you think is really cool and you can show to your friends. And finding a balance between what is true to you and your vision of art and your art, and finding a balance with something that is saleable. Because it's not something, we're not talking about learning how to play the piccolo. There you buy a piccolo and that's it, you're set for life. Film takes money and energy, and not so much money as everybody would like to lead you to believe, in my opinion, but money and energy and resources. And I beg you to not fuck around with it if you don't really have an intention. And if you have an intention, you don't know how you're going to get there. But if you just keep heading in that direction, and you don't make it too clear, I want an Oscar, not very helpful. But telling your stories one at a time, as you go along and are given the opportunity and make the opportunity for yourselves. There's a lot of women that are as good, if not better actors than me, that I studied with, that I've known over the years, that you will never see work because the industry broke them. It's better to let go of the dream when you're young and you can build something else. You see? Super duper hard thing to do. There's something else there out there for you. If you're kind of wondering, just dabbling, go dabble someplace else. And those of you it's really meant for will absolutely, I guarantee you, in the world today, succeed at it. If you're meant to.